In this tutorial, we're going to cover the setting up of the accounting manager for the imagePROGRAF printers. When your printer was installed, a program called Status Monitor was automatically loaded onto your computer. It runs as a standalone program and it can be found in your program files. So go to Start, All Programs, and then locate your Status Monitor and bring up imagePROGRAF Status Monitor. Choose the printer for which you're going to set up Accounting Manager and double click. If it's not connected, it will give you a message, but you will still be able to go ahead and set up all the information within the accounting system. What the Accounting Manager will do is keep track of what your cost per print is costing you with media and ink. You'll then click on the Accounting tab and you will double click on the accounting. This window will then come up, and over to the right hand side you can see all of the prints that have been run on my 755 since it was first installed and the accounting manager has been set up. These items over here are showing that nothing has been set up for heavyweight satin photo, so there's no cost coming up. And for plain paper here, numbers were added but not the cost of the paper and not the cost of the ink. Zeros were just put in. Down at the bottom here we have different items for plain paper that were put in, and you can see the cost per square foot of those prints, or what the job cost was. The first thing you're going to want to do is go to Settings, and you will select Units and Display. And why you want to do this is because you want it set up correctly for displaying the information that you want to read. So set up your date for month, day, year. Your currency unit will stay the same. Your thousand separator can stay the same. Your decimal symbol can stay the same. Your ink levels are always measured in milliliters, so we'll leave that at ml. Your page width is typically in inches, so we're going to change that to inch. And then your paper length is typically displayed in feet, so we'll select feet. And your area display format we want to see in square footage, so we will change that to square feet. And then you can click OK. The next thing you will want to do is go back up to Settings, and you will click on Unit Costs. And here's where you're going to enter in your information as far as what you paid for your materials. The first tab is the ink, and it shows you, based on the machine that I chose, all of the inks that are included in that machine. If all of your inks were the same, then you can simply click Use the same price for all ink. You'll put in what the milliliter is of that cartridge and what your unit cost is. I believe that unit cost is $66 for the imagePROGRAF 755. Then you can click Paper, and you can go to plain paper, or you can add if you want to put in for another paper. These are your selections, and you would put in 24 inches if that would be the width of your roll, and however long that length is of that roll when it's new, so 150 feet, and what you paid for that roll of paper. So I believe a roll of plain paper, 24 inches, around $28, give or take. And I'm going to say overwrite since I changed the amount of that price up there. And then I'm going to click OK. Alright, as I do that, then with the plain paper here, for the 24 inch, you can see how the prices have changed over here based on that ratio. So let's go in and we'll set up one more. So we'll go to Unit Costs, and I'm going to select Paper, and I would like to add heavyweight satin photo this time. Okay, let's set up one more paper. We're going to go to Settings and select Unit Costs. And notice that our $130 and our $66 price for each of the inks has stayed. And then we'll click on Paper. And let's set up for heavyweight coated paper. So I'm going to come down to the drop-down menu and select heavyweight coated. And we'll call that a 24-inch roll at 100 feet in length. And my unit cost on that is, we'll say $38. I'm going to click Add and see how it enters it up in here. Then I simply click OK, and now you can look and see that for those jobs that were already run, you can see the amount of paper consumed in square feet. You can see how much ink was used in milliliters. And you can also see now what the price of that print cost me. So if I have a print that's roughly 2 foot by 3 foot or 6 square feet, that print cost me $3 and roughly 20 cents to print. Now that I have all of this information, I can come up here and I can sort it as I want to. And let's say I want to sort it by media type just to make it a little bit easier to look at. And still remember, where all these asterisks are, that means that these particular medias have not been set up yet with unit costs. Now the ink will stay retained in there, but until we put in what the unit cost is on the paper, we will still have this. So the other feature for Accounting Manager is that I can take this information and I can export it to Excel, which could then be taken into an accounting program such as QuickBooks. To do that, I'm going to come up to File, and I'm going to say Export Job Cost Data, and I'm going to say Select the listed jobs. If you look up here, it also says Selected Jobs. It's grayed out right now. If I had gone through and selected jobs to be exported that I just wanted, let's say I just wanted to choose heavyweight coated, and I want to export that, I would select all of those. Then when I come up to File, it will now give me the option of exporting those selected jobs. But let's say I want to take everything that's been printed on that printer and keep track of it. I'm going to go to File, Export Job Cost Data, and Listed Jobs. Now you can then change the file name down here to IPF 755 printed jobs, or however you would like to name it. It's going to save it as a CSV file. So put that into whatever folder you're choosing to save it in, and then click Save. Now when you bring up Excel, you'll be able to import that information into the Excel program. So I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to say Open, and then I'm going to find my file, and I named it IPF 755 printed jobs, and I'm going to say Open. So now it's going to come up with all the rows of everything that I have, and I can go through and what information or columns I don't want, I can simply delete that. I can take out all the columns I don't want. And here it's keeping track of all the information and breaking down the cost of the ink, or how much ink was used for each color that's in there. So you can see all the different rows it's maintaining. And that concludes the demonstration of Accounting Manager.